Hi everybody, this is Daryl, also known as DJ D-Skillz, and I'm here to talk about the 4-chord challenge, which my man Meka came up with.
So just in conversation, with Meka, he kind of challenged me and Daryl to say, hey, uh, let's write songs and let's push ourselves and let's try to get better in a way that incorporates maybe some chords and some kind of some techniques that we historically hadn't done or didn't use very often. So he picked these 4 chords that he kind of found, I guess, on the internet and involved a couple minor chords and said, okay, let's each write a song using these chords. And so it was really Meka's idea to challenge us to kind of push ourselves to do things in a different way.
So how did this challenge come about? Really, I was inspired by my friend Daryl, who had moved to Germany to become a full-time DJ, and he had released a couple of albums on Bandcamp, Eternal Weekend and Control Alt Delete. And with each one, he was stretching himself in terms of experimenting with different ways of writing music, and so I was chatting with him over WhatsApp, and I said, look, how about you take these 4 chords that I happen to see in a YouTube video, because I've been learning to play the bass guitar, and I'm like playing over some of these backing tracks, and I said, okay, well, this particular one has A minor, F, B minor, and E. So why don't you take those 4 chords and write your own song?
The big challenge for me was getting started and figuring out the chords, right? Because I'm not an actual musician, so I had to look the chords up. I actually told Meka, you know what, I don't like that B minor. I think I like D minor better, which is down here. Right? So when you replace the B minor with the D minor, the 4 chords sound like this.
My kids were like, okay, let's go see Uncle Chi and Aunt Kim and their kids, their cousins, and so I said, well, when we get down there, maybe we can do some stuff too around these chords. And my nephew was like, he would trounce us in a challenge.
Demolish us. I think demolish was the word he used. So that expanded the challenge from the 3 kind of original Rising Sun members to the 4 of us.
I'm not confident about too many things, but I definitely am confident about my musical abilities, just because I've been around music for so long. So I probably had the most experience with musical instruments, just playing music as well as producing and working with this type of software. So I did have, pretty high level of confidence going into it.
And so it was on then. So, so each one of us, myself, Chi, my brother, Daryl, of course, and then my nephew Aaron, were like, okay, we're gonna each write a song with these 4 chords or some slight variation thereof. And so that's kind of how it evolved.
So a little bit of background on us. We've actually been working on music together since our high school days. We used to be in a rap group back in the day called the West Quad Posse, named after the section on campus we used to live in high school. And that sort of ended in 1992 after we had all graduated. There were 9 of us at one point, and it was down to 3 by our senior year. But 3 of us, Chi, Meka, and I, decided in the late 90s, around 98 or so, to get back together and start working on music again. And we recorded a project around that time that we call the Rising Suns. So we've been making music together since our high school days.
I would say in terms of the most difficult part of the challenge, for me, it was learning Logic Pro, which I had never used before.
I guess there were a couple of things that were difficult for me. One is I'm using Logic Pro, and I have this equipment from Native Instruments, and this is all new to me, including just using a Mac. I'm a guy that's been using a PC forever. So one of the challenges was just getting familiar with the software. So I did have a more of an edge than Meka had. I mean, he impressed the heck out of me learning the equipment and the software over the weekend while he produces a song that was quite good at the same time. It's utterly amazing. But so I had a little bit of a head start because I started with the equipment maybe a week or 2 prior, but certainly not very familiar with it, and going it alone, not having Aaron helping me was a bit of a challenge.
I started working with Logic about 2 years ago. One of my friends gave it to me, and I just started playing around with that. I didn't really know much about it. I never worked with something like that, and producing that type of music, like hip hop and trap beats. I've never done that before, but I just started playing around with it. And over time, I kind of learned my way around the software.
I basically sort of set some rules for myself in terms of the challenge that I had to involve my girls. They wrote lyrics, they played instruments. I wanted to use live instruments wherever possible, and I wanted to make sure that no two measures were exactly the same. And so when it comes to the difficult part of the challenge, it was all those things together. Never used Logic Pro, never written an R&B song, wanted live recordings.
The most difficult part was probably coming up with the idea, because they weren't, the only guidelines were the 4 chords, even though we all work with the same 4 chords, pretty much, there's millions of ideas that you can base off of those 4 chords. So I didn't know what direction I wanted to go with. And I probably spent a vast majority of my time trying to come up with the idea. Once I had the idea, the production didn't take long. I just got the bass line down, and then the majority of it was just editing and making it sound refined.
I was really going for an R&B sound, if you will, with some knock. So interestingly enough, when you listen to my piece, it's kind of 2 different songs, and the reason for that is the first part of the song, which is what I originally came up with. When I listened to it, it didn't quite fit what I was going for. And so I took another shot at it and reworked kind of my thoughts and came up with the second song, which is more in line with kind of that knock I was looking for. So, but I don't really have inspiration except kind of the fit with that genre of music that I really like to do, which is contemporary R&B.
I had never written an R&B song before, so I really just wanted to try my hand at that. And then 2, I was thinking, well, I want to have some lyrics in the song, and I want the song to speak to what's happening in terms of current events. So whether it's COVID-19 or Black Lives Matter or what, I just kind of wanted something that kind of spoke to that, to the moment. And my daughters, I shared this with my daughters, and they actually went and separately wrote their own lyrics.
I woke up this morning feeling so cold. I'm with so many people I've never known. My brothers and sisters.
I heard them and I added them, recorded them. Was like I did not change a single lyric. Not for the verses, not for the rap part.
How do you expect me to love this land when my people were counted as 3/5 of a man? You see, I want to grow up and have me a little boy, and I want that little boy to be my pride and joy.
The whole concept for the song was my daughter's idea and their ultimate inspiration for how the song came to be.
All right, so this is Machine, and this is the software that I use to make all of my music. It actually comes with bundled with this hardware controller. So yeah, that's basically the meat of the track, and that's how I put it together, and just added a few flourishes and a little bit more arrangement to that to sort of fill it out and make it into a proper song.
I didn't have much inspiration for the song. I really just took the chords and just started playing with them, seeing if I could get anything out of just listening to the chords, rearranging them. So I just started playing the chords on piano, exchanging some chords, playing them in a different order until I could find something that stuck with me. But nothing really stuck with me after a while, so then I started changing the instruments And once I got to the guitar sound that I use in here, it just sounded really well with guitar and gave me a, older Spanish guitar kind of vibe with it.
So it was just cool to be back, doing music again with the Rising Suns, even if we're not doing it together, we're doing it disparately. But that was pretty cool. And hearing everyone's compositions, I was really blown away. Everybody brought their A game, and it was actually far better than I anticipated it would be in terms of hearing the final products. And then I think the last one, and if I had to rank them, I'm probably a little biased on this one, was just hearing my son's creation, Aaron's creation, because he's the only one of the four of us that's had any formal musical training.
I started playing piano by age 4. I took lessons at my school with a piano teacher that worked there, and then I continued to take lessons with her through my elementary and middle school years, and now in high school I still continue to play piano.
And I know he's talented, and I've seen him play the piano, and I've seen him play the violin, and I've seen him play the drums. But I'd never heard a piece of music that he composed. And he's composed some things that I've just never heard. So when I heard his piece for the challenge, that was the first time I'd ever heard a piece of music that Aaron had composed. And I was floored, completely blown away with how good it was. And so that was pretty cool for me as well, just to hearing the music that my son was able to create.
So I have to say, it was really awesome hearing how all 4 tracks came out. I thought it was great that Meka involved his daughters on his track, or their track, I should say. And, Chi was really creative with his track. And of course, we added a new member to the group, in Aaron. Well, I guess I should say 3 new members, because Sabina and Alechi also participated. But Aaron's track really blew me away. In fact, I think he blew all of us away.
I just wanted to showcase my skills. I just wanted to, show them what I could do. And of course, I wanted to win. That was obviously in my mind. But I just wanted to create a project that they enjoyed listening to, that I enjoyed listening to, and hopefully that I could keep expanding on and use in the future.
It was really rewarding to hear all 4 of the songs that we each produced. Myself, my brother, Daryl, and my nephew. All 4 songs are just different from each other. And we all started in the same place with essentially the same 4 chords with slight variations, and ended up with uniquely creative expressions. And so I really loved that. But I especially loved spending time with my daughters. Right? That was just totally fun. We spent a Saturday and a Sunday writing the song over the 4th of July weekend this year in 2020, and I was like, okay, we're home for COVID, and we've been home for a while, but this was like a project we could do together. And so that's what I'll cherish the most about this whole project is that this was a song that my daughters and I did together, and so it was a family thing.
My Uncle Meka's track has really stood out because he's the only one who really did a full song and produced vocals with it, with my cousins, Alechi and Savannah. I really liked their vocals, by the way. I really liked lyrics and rapping by Savannah, and Alechi, her singing was really good as well. And I really am impressed by how well Uncle Meka was able to learn the Logic Pro software, which he hasn't had too much time to work with it. But I was really impressed by the way he put together the song, and his level of mixing and mastering was very good.
Did it surprise you to have Meka to think outside of the box and include Savannah and Alechi in his song?
Surprised me? No. Meka always brings his A game. He always brings a high level of creativity. So I knew that he was going to come with it. I didn't anticipate that he would engage Alechi and Savannah and have them, participate and write lyrics and bring to bear a full song with lyrics and everything. I probably should have anticipated it, but I didn't. So it was a pleasant surprise. to hear that. I thought it was really cool. It was very well done. The music was on point.
I would say the most rewarding part was just listening to them all at the end. I didn't really know what to expect from them. And not saying that I had low expectations, but they definitely exceeded my expectations. I really enjoyed what they had.
Once we all listened, Meka said, "Man, we should put these out," and I said, "Hold on, before we, go letting anybody else hear this." I kind of wanted to go back and polish my track up a little bit more. So I made a few changes from the original version that we all listened to the final version that you will hear. So mainly I changed some of the instruments around.
When I listen to Daryl's track in the challenge, the selection of instruments, the bass line, the melodies are just funky as all get out. He really brought the heat on this one. And when you listen to that song, if someone were to tell you that it was composed by an artist that has no formal musical training, you wouldn't believe that. I mean, he absolutely killed it on this challenge. His song is just incredible.
I also have to say it was really good to collaborate once again with my buddies Chi and Meka, and to get Chi's son Aaron in the mix, as well as Meka's daughters Alechi and Sobena in the mix. So it was a really fun project to participate in. I feel like it challenged me and pushed me to grow a little bit in terms of my music production and arrangement. So I really appreciate Meka for inviting us all to participate in this challenge. It was a lot of fun. We may do it again, and I hope you all enjoy what you hear. Peace.